Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm joined with Ted Ings, myself, and unfortunately, Vanessa isn't able to make it here tonight. But we have Dave FOY with us, OEM Interactive, and Fixed Ops Mastermind. Welcome, Dave.
Wow. Dave, it's been a minute since you've been here. And we have, Dave, I don't have any audio on you.
How about now?
Oh, now we do, yes.
It's been so long, I forgot they had microphones.
Dave, how are you?
I couldn't be better, Ted. In a great place, OEM Interactive, growing company, and starting to really come out on the scene. Right, they've been around for a few years, but have been kind of quietly building, and now starting to break out.
Awesome.
I heard they got some good leadership at that organization.
Yeah.
They do, and there he is right now, Aaron Waters, who is down in Disney and jumping in to join here.
Yeah, Aaron, welcome and congratulations to you on bringing Dave FOY aboard to OEM. That's a real strong move, and I think you'll see that pay off real quick. So, Dave, a lot of exciting things going on right now in the industry.
There are. It's a busy time, and coming into the end of the year, a lot of new things happening on the sales side. On the sales side, I just saw that Mannheim was selling all their Canadian operations, so that'll change up the auto auction business up north of us a bit. And obviously down here, we've got Amazon and Hyundai partnering up to see what they can change, if you will, in the automotive industry.
Oh, yeah. Our last couple of After Dark shows, we talked a lot about that partnership. So it's on the come up, and we're excited to see where that goes, but also a little nervous. We'll see. So OEM Interactive, what are you doing there currently? What are your roles and obligations?
Yeah, so my official title is Vice President of Fixed Operations Training. We are working on some stuff in the back room, if you will, down in the basement, creating some new things for the company. As you guys know, the company focuses on marketing for parts departments that are selling online, and get their online stores out there and compete with those Amazons of the world, right? To make sure you take your share. And in the meantime, we work on building something new. Aaron is a really forward-looking guy, and so we've got some ideas, and the reason that we partnered, so we could come together and build something to make OEM Interactive even bigger and stronger than it is right now.
You're in a very exciting space, Dave, right now, because parts has suddenly took, how many, 20 years, but it has suddenly become sexy. Okay. It is the place to be. And you're squarely in the middle of that, doing this online thing, which is like a revolution in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, we all know that Amazon is out there and lurking, and they started a few years ago with just a few small items, the automotive items that they were putting up on there, air filters from actual OEMs and things. And it gets looked at as not that big a deal, right? It's a couple of small parts. But when I look back to the late 80s, early 90s in the business, we did the same thing with tires and thought, not a big deal, right? They want to sell tires somewhere, send them somewhere else. I mean, we would literally tell customers, you can get a better deal at the tire store. Go to the tire store. And then you spend the next 20 years of your career trying to get all that business back, right? So if we open our eyes a bit here as an industry and say, we probably shouldn't let that happen again, right? But history repeats itself. And that tire business that I saw us let walk out the door back in the late 80s is the same type of situation, not the same business, but the same type of situation that's happening right now with parts online.
I told, in fact, we were talking in the green room with Katrina, and Dave, a lot of people don't realize or may have forgotten that you started off as a technician in automotive retail. I know you worked many years in retail, but you started off as a tech.
I did start as a tech, and as I told Katrina, that went as long as as it could, because I was not a very good tech. So they asked me kindly to not work on their vehicles anymore, and move to the service desk side of things. The tech part certainly got me into the business. I went through Ford's asset program, so learned the business and got my introduction to the dealership through that. It was definitely a big help in my career as I moved through being a service advisor, right? Having that automotive knowledge definitely helps. It's not something that's required, certainly. You need much more customer service type skills than you do automotive skills to be an advisor. But it's just one more thing that I didn't have to learn when I became an advisor.
Dave,
Right.
do you know this fella Vince who's in the chat right now?
I do not.
Okay, well, Vince, probably within the hour, I saw he put up a comment on a post that we had on social media, and he just got his ticket, Katrina, for the Knights of the Roundtable event. And I got to do a shameless plug for that right now, Dave. So, Katrina, when is that event coming up? Because I see Sean Kingry's been added to the roster here. He's on the Eventbrite anchor image. Look at that.
Awesome. So yeah, that'll be January 29th through February 1st. And seems like it might be a little bit away with the new year coming around, but it'll be just right around the corner before you know it, in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and look at that. Ed Roberts, Sean Kingry now on the Eventbrite image. That's a big Dave, Sir Sean Kingry, Sir Ed
Sir
Roberts,
Sean.
right? Yeah,
Sir Sean.
Lady Sarah Van Tyne. How about that, Katrina?
Mhm.
Lady Sarah. Okay.
That
And
is well
Sir-
deserved for her.
And Sir Tully. So when we came up with the theme, Dave, real quick, we talk about the, pulling the sword from the stone, right? We have the swords there in the round table, but we said that, only the believers in the hours can actually pull the sword out of the stone. So we're going to see if we can accomplish that somehow here in the next 7 weeks.
You gotta pull the piston out of the block. That's what you have to be able to do.
Mhm.
All right. So, Dave, so we're very grateful for you for being here, and very grateful to OEM Interactive, and you've had an amazing career and continue to have an amazing career, and have been a big supporter for Fixed Ops and a big cheerleader, cheering the way for Fixed Ops, all these years. Talk about some of the things that you're working on, things that you're going to be doing at OEM. And there's Sean Kingry in the chat now.
There he is, Sir Sean. He's been dubbed a knight.
Yes,
Yeah, it's so certainly the last few years have been really interesting. Being inside the dealership for so many years, and 3 or so years ago, getting outside of the dealership, getting more into the training space, and now joining forces with OEM Interactive. Thank you, Russell Hill, and joining forces with OEM Interactive to now start to create something new, to help the mastermind start to transform into something new. Got some exciting stuff coming for the mastermind in 2024, and the other, I don't want to release too much here. Because
no, go ahead, please.
we will give you the exclusive when it comes out, Ted. But for right now, we continue to tinker in the basement on what is to come.
And Dave, the mastermind is on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Is that correct?
Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Correct.
So-
Anybody that wants a link for that can shoot me a message on LinkedIn or whatever. Don't worry, Aaron. I'm not telling them anything.
So for a little bit about for people that don't really know what the Fixed Ops Mastermind is, can you give us a little description about what is it to engage us more and get us there on Tuesday? Because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what I intended it to be when I started it. So started back in 2019, and it was intended to be a place for technicians and advisors to go to learn the things they needed to do to move themselves up into leadership positions. To my surprise, no advisors or technicians signed up, and all leaders in the industry signed up for it. And so it then became a place for leadership to hang out every Tuesday night. We had a bunch of different guests, from industry people to people on the vendor side. We had one of the mental performance coaches for the New York Yankees come in and talk to the group. And it's grown into a group of people that every Tuesday night get together and talk about, most times we discuss what's going on in the industry, maybe a problem somebody has that they're trying to work through. Everybody certainly welcome there. We've had everybody now from advisors through dealer principals that have come to the group and join us. It's a place for people to learn new things, maybe discover something about their business that somebody else is doing that's working, and to at least come and ask some questions or to just sit back and listen.
Okay. All right. I'm getting the idea, Katrina.
I'm glad. Looks like
Dave's
Dave.
freezing up there a little
Oh,
bit.
there he is. He's back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
But Dave, it is amazing. Okay, this community for fixed ops that's come together on social media the last 4 years. And Dave, before like 4.5 years ago, that didn't exist out there.
It didn't, and it's funny, Ted, because when I started this and I was going to put it on Zoom, everybody was like, "What is Zoom?" Right now, it's a household word now. I wish I could say I was smart enough that I knew COVID was coming and started this, 6-7 months before COVID started, but I'm not that bright. I got lucky with that happening, but. It definitely, although COVID obviously was devastating in a lot of ways, I think there was a lot of good for this industry that came out of it, because there were a lot of people that jumped into more meetings like this that maybe in the past, either the technology didn't exist, or once it did exist, people were like, I don't want to sit on a whatever kind of call. Yeah. Ted, you were a pioneer in the online space.
All right. So, Dave, tell the truth, because I was not. And I see Jeff Daniel in the chat tonight. Jeff, welcome from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yes.
He's with us, Katrina. So, Dave, I fought this online thing in the beginning. I didn't want to go online. In fact, I had all kinds of reservations and questions. And it was not until that event actually happened, March of 2020, that I kind of got, okay, we'll give it a shot. We'll see how this thing works. Right.
Yeah. So somewhere there's a meme of Ted being dragged kicking and screaming into the Zoom world.
Weren't we all, though? That was all of us during COVID. It was a shock, but.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my daughter, Jean, Dave, you know my daughter, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys have worked together. Jean was at college at Purchase College, SUNY, New York. And, she was showing me, Dad, they just closed the cafeteria. She sends me a picture, like all the chairs on top of the tables. There's no more in the cafeteria. You got to take it to go, right? And she goes, Dad, the next day, students are moving out. The next day, more are moving out. The signs were just progressively not good. And I was trying to Katrina, I was clinging on to the fact that we could have an event in April of 2020 in Dallas, Texas. And I was clinging on to the fact, and every day the CDC said, no groups of more than 20. Then the next day, no more groups of more than 10. Then it was down to like 5 people. I'm like, okay, we got to reconsider.
Yeah, I remember when I was in sophomore year of high school. So I remember it was just, oh, a 2-week vacation. Like, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Nope.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. And then from there, you see companies moving their like work online and people working more hybrid and from home, and then them canceling their leases in their office buildings because no one's coming in anymore. But the world has
Yeah.
just changed.
And from the dealership side, it was interesting because it really impacted my world very, very little. Right. Other than you had to wear a mask inside the dealership, and you took additional protections with people's cars and things like that. But the dealership remained largely the same on the service side. The sales side totally different. But the service side, well, it was unchanged. It was much the same. People still needed to get their cars fixed. There were still a lot of people that still had to get transported to places, whether it was first responders or people that had jobs that couldn't be handled remotely. So,
Right.
It was interesting to have a bunch of people in your world that had their businesses closed down or they moved online or whatever, and you're still going to work like it's a normal day.
Russell has it right. This was an essential business, service and parts. So on that note, Russell, Dave, I got to ask you, do you think the move to online parts, people buying them online, did that accelerate during that period? Because you don't see as many people going to the front counter as you did years ago to buy their parts that way.
Yeah, I think certainly it accelerated it, and it made people realize that it could be done, and it could be done effectively. Right. Before, maybe people went to the parts store or the dealership because they felt it was the only way they were going to get the right part. Right. And then some technologies came along to make sure that even ordering online, you can get the correct part. As they decode VINs and do all kinds of other wonderful stuff through plate readers, license plate readers, and things that ensure that you can get the right part without the hassle of having to actually go into a dealership and stand at a parts counter, or go into a parts store and stand at a counter and wait for somebody.
Yeah, I remember that.
Awesome. So on the dealership talk, what is our biggest opportunity at the dealership level of helping customer retention? Give us some insight on that.
Yeah, I would say that our biggest opportunity there is developing our leadership. Right. There's the reason that we have lost so many people in our industry is because there is a lot of poor leadership out there in the stores. And that's not a shot at the leaders that are running stores. Most of them were put in positions without any training themselves. Right. They were a good advisor. So therefore, put them into the manager's seat, and now you're running $1 million operation. Before you were handling yourself. Now you're handling 25, 30 people and expenses, and you're supposed to understand all these different variables. They expect you to understand how to read a financial statement without giving you any of the tools to be able to do that successfully. Right. And unfortunately, that's been the model of our business for a long time. And the sooner that we can help our leaders become better, understand what they need to do to actually lead a team, to connect with a team, the better off we're going to be. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, right? That quote has been out there forever, that people don't quit jobs, they quit managers. That's happening and has been happening in automotive for a long time. And you can go from one dealership to another dealership down the street, you're probably going to run into the same thing. So we need to really put a focus on developing our leaders so that they can then take care of the people who can take care of our customers.
And you and this fella, Ed Roberts, down in Florida, have done a great job in promoting the leadership aspect of it, Dave, because you really brought that to the front lines. And that's really what's lacking. There's a lot of stuff out there, but not really a whole lot affecting the leaders in retail who are on the front lines.
Yeah. And that's just it, right? You can train service advisors all day, every single day, right? But if that service advisor has a poor leader, then there's nobody there to help them continue what they just learned in 8, 16, 24 hours worth of training that they just took. Right. Or as they try to implement some of the stuff that they learned in the training, and a leader doesn't know how to make that work in the business that they're in. So Ed Roberts certainly has been out there, especially with his book and starting to explain how he built such a great organization down there at Bozard. That place for anybody in the industry who has not made a trip to go see Ed, and have some lunch at Ford's Garage and take a walk through that operation, you deserve to make that trip.
It's like this. It's going to Disneyland, right, Dave? That's what Bozard is like.
It's Disneyland for automotive people. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially fixed operations people.
I like it so much. Jeff Bogaski from Infinitive, good evening. Welcome. And a whole lot going on. So Katrina, Dave has really been very instrumental in a lot of ways on social media and fixed ops and bringing people together, not just on the mastermind, but now at OEM Interactive and now on the parts side. So Katrina, he's got a whole lot going on.
That's awesome. So how do we really bring more people in and attract more people to the industry?
Yeah, I think we've got to get a lot more creative than we have been. I think we need to start making the industry. Number one, you can go back to what I first said about training leaders, right? We need to have good leadership within the dealerships to make it a place where we're going to want to send anybody.
Right.
That's number one. Number two is then starting to think in different ways, do things differently, find people at younger ages to get them involved and get them interested in. I read an article in, I think it was in Ratchet and Wrench, and it's an independent place, but they do a summer camp for kids. They do a 2-week summer camp that they put on where the kids come and they work on cars and they have pieces of the cars apart for the kids to be able to work on them and things. And it's for 8 to 11-year-olds. That's what we need, right? We need to, you can't be grabbing people who are 18, 19, 20 years old and going, hey, you should think about a career in automotive, right? They've already most likely started down a path of what they want to do with their life.
Right.
So we've got to start involving the youth and not just looking at the youth as somebody who's in a technical college, right? Like Northwood, like yourself, or a vocational high school. We've got to get them even before that. And then there's just so many other things that we could be doing other than throwing an ad up on Indeed and hoping that somebody applies to come and be in the business.
Yeah. So Northwood actually has like this camp that we have called like Fuel Up or Full Tank Camp. And I'm student assistant for LG. So I'm helping him like plan the camp over the course of the year. And this is actually for, I think it's 8th graders to seniors in high school. So it's like we're engaging that younger crowd. And I think we usually take like 40 kids. This is our only second year doing it. So it's new, but we do like all these different activities relating to just like cars and then also like service side of it as well. And it's sponsored by GM. So GM does a lot of financial help with that. So
that's great.
Katrina, when does that happen, Katrina?
Ooh, I'm going to have to let you guys know next After Dark show, because I'm not 100% sure. It's during the summer.
It's the summer. Okay.
I'll make sure I get the link to you. So if anyone has kids or like young children that they want to get involved in the industry, this is a great place to start. And even if they're not sure about it, this is a place to like dip their toe in the water and kind of check it out. But I'll make sure to get that link and get that information from LG. I wish he was here right now. He would be blowing up in the chat. He would be loving that I'm talking about this right now.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because, Dave, I'm not sure if it was Katrina, but somebody proposed recently that we do on the roundtable something with the children of technicians. And I said, let's expand it. Let's get it of the children of parents who are in fixed ops. And Ed Roberts put his hand up right away. Okay. And of course I've got a daughter as well. And so I think any promotion we can do, we were talking like 3, 4, 5 years ago, Dave, about promoting women in automotive and retail automotive. But I'm seeing even more clearly right now, it's getting young people in automotive, men or women. I don't think that matters. Okay. And I think having that pipeline and going to Northwood actually introduced, I mean, I'd heard about it, Katrina, but until I got up there and saw all the things that you folks are doing, there's a whole lot going on, including this fella from Cox Automotive, Skylar, who's with us now. So,
yeah, it's important, right? It's not just technicians that this industry is lacking, right? We need a lot of people into the dealership, and we want those people to stay. We don't want transient people coming in and out of the dealership. You want people to come there, find a home, make a career out of it, right? That's the difference. Yeah. It's not, we don't want it to be a job. We want it to be a career. We want it to be a professional career. And oftentimes people are thinking about going into automotive. A lot of people outside the industry think of being a technician or a mechanic, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of jobs within the dealership that people can do. And the more people that we can bring into that arena, the more people that can see the potential that is there.
Yeah.
So Skylar, I know you're in the chat, but I got to just make you aware that the next time we go to see Tully at Nilo in Sacramento, Skylar, you and I were there recently, a few months back. Katrina's been asking about the next pop-up that we do out there. So we want to bring Katrina involved with those videos in the shop to show the customer their needs. And we've got some ideas on that. So Skylar, so stay tuned. And I know you're integral to getting all that done at Cox Automotive. So appreciate all that you do for our industry. Oh, yeah. And here's Jeff Daniel. His staff is 100% female, right, Dave?
Yeah. All the way through the management.
In Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yeah. What are they? Subaru and Hyundai? Or
he has 5 brands there. So
does he? Okay.
Yeah. And awesome. And I think he's the only male in leadership in fixed ops there.
He is. Jeff, give us the brands in the chat if you don't mind. And actually, we got to have Jeff back on because Jeff did a couple panels with he has female technicians, Katrina, and we've done panels with them, on the roundtable in the recent past. So
that's awesome.
Cool stuff, Dave. You're a popular guy tonight.
A lot of people in the chat. I don't think it's me.
No, I think it is.
Bruce, you're correct. It's got to start with the people at the top. My original service manager told us the fish rots from the head, right? You've got to get the top of the organization to believe in that training. There you go. 4 female techs, including one that's 5 months pregnant from Jeff.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's actually a very well-run dealership. So congratulations, Jeff, on all the great work that you're doing up there and, putting that all in place. Katrina, a lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. The industry's moving like it always is.
Here he is. Here's Sean Butler. I spoke to him a little while ago. So Sean, great to see you. And it was great to have Robin on the show. And, our love and prayers to you and hope you're feeling better. And, we definitely got to get you better. And Dave, what a story. Sean Butler is a testament to our industry.
Absolutely. Good to see you out there, Sean. Keep fighting the fight.
Yeah.
You've got this. Yep.
All right. So Dave, what's next? OEM Interactive. You got a lot going on. Perhaps some news coming in the not too distant future. So
some news coming. Yes, absolutely.
Aaron's still here, so don't worry. He's watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some definitely some exciting news coming. Like I said, we're in the basement tinkering with some new things. In the meantime, we continue to grow OEM Interactive and help our partners sell more parts. And that side of the business is so important, right? We've got to continue to find new ways to have revenue streams in the dealership. You can't rely on one revenue stream. I'll say anymore, but you never could before. But you really can't now in today's world. And you've got to keep up and keep moving, or you will definitely get passed by.
All right. Dave, appreciate all you do, all OEM Interactive does, and the Fixed Ops Mastermind. Look forward to that. Katrina, give us again one more time the dates coming up. I know it's a month and a half away, but it's going to be here like that before you know it. And next thing you know, we're going to have the nights out. So
it's right there in that bottom left corner, January 29th through February 1st.
And how do we get our tickets, Katrina?
Complimentary tickets, fixedopsroundtable.com. We have a tutorial up from our last event that we have, but it would be the same steps that you should follow if you're having trouble getting those tickets, but they're complimentary. So make sure you go secure those right now.
Yeah,
complimentary. That's better than free.
That is better than free.
I'm hearing that, Dave. Yeah. And Tony Owens is right. Thank you, Dave, for all you do for the industry.
Thanks for being there, Tony. I like the hat. I don't think it'll work on me, but I do like the hat on you.
All right. We're gonna see. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Great audience tonight. Dave FOY, OEM Interactive, Fixed Ops Mastermind. Thank you. Katrina, thank you. And we will be back on Wednesday with another episode of After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So on behalf of Dave and Katrina and Vanessa, who will be back on Wednesday, we'll see you all then, everybody. Thank you.
Right. Katrina and Ted, thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.